We would be remiss on Veterans Day not to talk to the head of the Memphis VA Hospital, and we're happy to have him as our guest today. David Dunning, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it. You took over the hospital when it was in the throes of controversy, rated as one of the worst in the country. Yet it wasn't that long ago that the Secretary of the VA came out and said, you get the award for most improved.
Yes, sir.
What has been the key to trying to turn around the VA?
Well, it's really been about culture and about attitude. It's pretty easy to come in and identify things to do, but when you come in, you got to change the culture and you got to talk to people and give them leadership. And so that's one of the first things I did. I brought in a team with me that looked at how we were doing things and how we were interacting with our veterans, and refocused us toward providing that service and that servant leadership.
How hard was it to pinpoint where the problems were, what needed to be addressed the most?
Culture is always the hardest thing. In the military, they say culture trumps strategy. You know, you can have all the plans you want, but if the culture doesn't support it, if the people don't support it, it's going to fail. So it's very hard. But at the same time, if you get one or two or three leaders and people start seeing those leaders giving them what they need, then it starts to become contagious because other people want it and they start to demand it instead of waiting for it.
You have what they call the snowball
Correct.
effect, and it starts to build. So you have a lot of neat programs, and we've done stories on a couple of them that I think a lot of folks, including a lot of veterans, don't know about. Talk about two or three that you think really stand out that fall into that category.
As we highlighted back in the month of September, our suicide awareness, suicide prevention, I'm really focused on that because I think our veterans know how to get out of crisis. We tell them go to the ER or call the crisis hotline. But what next? And so we did this series of videos where we talked about substance abuse and how to get out of that, how to opioid addiction, recreational therapy, employment services, homelessness, veterans justice, PTSD. And we did one on each one of those programs and described it and had our veterans talk about it and then told them how to get in it at the end of it. So I'm really proud of that program. Now, we started a couple of new programs within the last year, or restarted. We restarted our cardiothoracic surgery program. It's doing very well. Just 2 months ago, we restarted our orthopedics program, the surgery program, which we would stop doing for a little while. And then we're right in the middle of starting up our pain program, where we're going to focus a little bit more on alternatives and managing people's pain.
Alternatives to opioids?
Correct.
Wonderful. Okay. So you had and there was something we ran a story on not that long ago about canoeing or kayaking.
Yes, that was a recreational therapy. There's canoeing and kayaking. There's the equine therapy with the War Horses for Heroes. There's bowling. There's all kinds of things. It's a great program that gets people to just relax. That's part of it. Breathe and relax and just let it go.
It has to be so rewarding to help our vets in this way.
It is, and I get constant feedback, and I get a lot of great feedback. Sometimes I get feedback we're not doing what we should be doing, we hadn't quite made it yet, and so that's when we refocus our efforts just a little bit. I wander the hospital on a daily basis and interact with veterans, and so I'm getting a lot of feedback. And when I first got here, it was much more on the negative side. It's now overwhelmingly positive, but at the same time, I still get opportunities to improve and opportunities to show our vets we're really there for them.
Well, if they feel they have a listening ear, that's half the battle.
Yes, sir.
So thanks so much for coming in. We appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Continued good luck to you as you turn things around there at the VA hospital.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be right back.